From his circle of rich and famous friends spoiling him with gifts, to how Obama became a multi-millionaire before assuming office, here's everything you need to know about the trillionaire life of Barack Obama.
As of 2022, Barack Obama is sitting comfortably in the 13th spot among the richest U.S. presidents in history. Obviously, Donald Trump's right there at the top with his many business ventures. Still, a reported worth of $48 million is nothing to complain about. And along with his wife, Michelle, the Obamas have a collective net worth of over $70 million. You'd think that the United States president made most of that money during his time in office, but that's far from the truth. The Obamas had been living comfortably far before Barack Obama was sworn in as the 44th president of the country. We're taking a trip down memory lane all the way back to 2004, when Obama was doing well for himself with an annual salary of $80,000 working as a member of the Illinois Senate. It's easy to forget that U.S. presidents were living relatively normal lives before they were sworn in. And one of Obama's side hustles while being part of the Illinois Senate was working as a lecturer at the University of Chicago Law School. As an educator, Obama received an annual salary of $32,000. Already, the Obamas were far from being considered middle-class Americans, and it helped that Barack Obama had diversified his finances by investing in multiple stocks. Famously, the Vanguard Wellington Fund was worth between $100,000 and $200,000. You need to remember that it takes decades and decades of effort to eventually gain enough favor from the public and declare your run for president. Today, Barack Obama is remembered as one of the most liked U.S. presidents, and he'd been making waves way back in Illinois. The publishing company Random House recognized his potential in 2005 and offered him a book deal worth $1.9 million. So yeah, he was a millionaire before he even assumed office in 2009. The Audacity of Hope remained on the New York Times bestseller list for 30 weeks, and the audiobook version won the 2008 Grammy for Best Spoken Word Album. It seemed like everywhere the man went, he just kept making more and more money. Obviously, everyone wanted a piece of that pie, and Obama secured his second book deal worth just a little under $850,000 for Dreams from My Father. That, by the way, isn't in addition to the $380,000 in royalties he received from his best-selling memoir. This was all back in 2005 when he had only just started making splashes. By 2007, Obama was making waves in the United States, and everyone wanted to know more. This meant buying his books, which generated more royalties for the civil rights lawyer, and he was able to collect another $1 million from book royalties alone. By the time he was sworn in, Obama was worth between $3 million and $5 million. Let's pick it up from there. How much did Barack Obama earn from his time in office? You might remember winning the Nobel Peace Prize as one of the most significant achievements during the 44th president's term. While that obviously came with bragging rights, you might not have known that the Peace Prize comes with a financial award too. Any guesses? Odds are you're off by a couple $100,000 because the actual value was $1.4 million. He actually donated that entire amount to various charities, mostly because he was living comfortably with his $400,000 annual salary as President of the United States. Besides that, Obama had several major investments, which reportedly piled up millions every year. Obama became the first African-American president in the country's history and was probably the most liked one too. This meant that when he stepped down from office in 2017, he was able to capitalize on all that fame. And that's what he did. Did you know that Obama charges $400,000 for public speaking events? That's one event a year, and he's good to go for the other 364 days. Still, the former president is not one to stay idle for long, And in 2018, he started his own production house, Higher Ground. The company's already signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix. Also, keeping up with tradition, Obama signed up for his third book release in 2020, titled The Promised Land. The book's publishing is part of a $65 million deal, which also includes Michelle Obama's memoir. The Promised Land was followed by a children's book, Of Thee I Sing, which Obama dedicated to his daughters. It's heartwarming, isn't it? It also paid well, really well, about $8.8 million worth. Barack and Michelle had started work on multiple reforms, starting back in 2009, and many of those reforms and philanthropic efforts have carried on to this day. We're talking about the man who introduced the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, and someone who dedicated all his time and effort to battling climate change. Anyway, just because he has a lot on his shoulders doesn't mean Obama doesn't let loose every once in a while. One of the most memorable things about the Obamas was that they presented themselves as an average American family. They were humble, that's for sure. But with a combined worth of $70 million, do you think the Obamas didn't live life lavishly? Speaking of which, the family had to relocate after moving out of the Oval Office. Barack Obama had previously been renting an 800 square foot mansion in Washington, but decided to go for it and buy the property outright for $8.1 million in 2017. Their home is something straight out of a dream. It was once the second most expensive home in all of Washington and features 9 bedrooms plus 8.5 bathrooms. The mansion in itself is a renovated Victorian-style classic, with not one but 2 multifunctional kitchens. Their home has been raved about in several magazines, and the Obamas decided to keep that momentum going by purchasing Martha's Vineyard. The family had been known to vacation in the home even while living in the Oval Office. Once Obama said goodbye to the life of politics and decided to retire, he thought it was best to live in the most comfortable home money could buy. A mansion is still a home, by the way. And with 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a pool, 2 garages, and access to a private pond and island, Martha's Vineyard is the perfect escape. The family still maintains their primary residency at the Washington Mansion, but visits their Martha's Vineyard mansion every summer, mostly because it provides a serene escape from the city. Sometimes, though, you want a serene escape from the country, and the Obamas make sure they make the most of their vacation time. The families vacationed all around the globe, with a particularly lavish time spent in Greece. Before that, they'd taken a family trip to Bali. By the way, did you know that Barack Obama spent some years in Indonesia as a kid? That's right, his stepfather was Indonesian and the family relocated there when Obama was only 8 years old. To cut away from all the glitz and glam of the former president's life, he grew up just like the rest of us. If anything, Obama had to grow up a lot faster than everyone else, what with his father all but abandoning the family and going back to Kenya while he was still a kid. He passed away a short while later, and Obama's mother passed away in 1995 too. Barack Obama's a true testament to the fact that you can get everything you've ever dreamt of if you work hard. That's enough of a tear jerker for this video. Let's go back to talking about his multi-millions again. The rich family has some pretty rich friends too. And who could be any richer than Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, the late king of Saudi Arabia? Of the many gifts he's given Obama over the years, 2 stick out. One's an all-gold figurine of a Saudi island, featuring golden palm trees and camels. And the other, no surprise here, is also gold. The late king gifted the former president a gold medallion, which featured the royal seal. These were just 2 of the many gifts Obama's received from the late king. Some reports attribute a $1.4 million value to everything Abdulaziz has given the former president over the years. Hu Jintao, the former president of the People's Republic of China, decided to give the Obamas a more personal present. He presented them with a wooden frame and silk-matted portrait of the first family, which was reportedly worth over $20,000. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom decided to give him a pen instead. Of course, as you already know, it wasn't just any other pen, but a black and gold, one-of-a-kind pen worth over $16,000. Obama's circle of rich and powerful friends wasn't limited to kings, presidents, and prime ministers, though. Oh no, he was also close friends with Pope Benedict XVI, who, by the way, also gifted him something worth hundreds and thousands of dollars. The Pope gave Barack Obama a framed painting featuring St. Peter's Square, a decorative gold coin, and silver ornaments. Based on all that, it's pretty obvious that Barack Obama's been enjoying his retirement so far. Anyway, from his circle of rich and famous friends spoiling him with gifts to how Obama became a multimillionaire before assuming office, that was everything you needed to know about the trillionaire life of Barack Obama.